Yeah. Boom to the hay, all your sports fans out there in the tubosphere, or to you, the individual, as part of the collective. Welcome to Fast Track Sports Rec Highlights here on Talk Radio version of the OMSR. I am your brief but concise host, Will, the alternative ESPN Sports Thrill. Always do a little show like this to let you know the clip order coming up and the whys and wherefores. We put the signif in significantly longer highlights reel plus a quickie sport rant of the segment. Why? Well, that's all due to the fabulous OMSR sponsor being the DNCAA. So many thanks to it and all the goodies it covers. A little pause there to make you think about that. All the video highlights courtesy to ESPN and the respective universities. A little shout out to the NCAA. Everything else to the OMSR. All right, the wherefores. Talk briefly and concisely about that time of year with the mid-major tournaments, most specifically about the SWAC with some schwag, PRAIRIE A&M versus Texas Southern. And, you know, the OMSR, I dare say, spends a lot more time on these mid-major tournaments than 90% of the sports shows you're going to see on YouTube. That goes back to my 34 years of playing ball, a little bit in college before I blew up my ankle, with the love of the college game. And plenty of guys who got game. So, it's a nice little segue there into the quickie sport rant of the segment. The NBA needs to be paying more attention to these type deals, and not the hype of, you know, NBA talent scouts go to see 20 games of so-and-so freshman at so-and-so school. I'm not going to name names. There's only like one or two ready to go outside the box. This Aaric Murray, was it Murphy? I'm sorry. Let's just go with the Aaric, unique spelling. A-A-R. There, Texas Southern center. Is he junior or senior? He's ready to go. You know, so enough with the NBA draft being a disappointment with people like, what, he got drafted where and what number? And all these international players, with all due respect, actually you're going to get two quickie sport rants within one. You know, there's a lot more players who honed their game in the US of A in the Division I through 3 collegiate system, the greatest, unrivaled on the face of this earth. All the other countries combined. Hey, I'm talking to my USA sports audience. If you're there in Portugal or wherever, if I offend you, too bad. Okay? There are way more USA players prepared to play internationally than vice versa. All right, so the NBA needs to be paying attention to some of these tournaments. All right, done with the rant. Thanks for watching those silly DUIs while you're out there. Second half highlights coming up. There's just not enough time to bring you the whole game.
Week on ESPN presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, and welcome to the Toyota Center in downtown Houston, Texas for the Southwestern Athletic Conference championship game between the Prairie View A&M Panthers and the Texas Southern Tigers. We are down to two, the 2 seed Texas Southern and the 8 seed Prairie View A&M. Well, last year in this SWAC title game, Prairie View A&M came up 1 bucket short of the win and their first NCAA tournament since 1998. Moments ago, their head coach, Byron Rim, addressed his team.
The only easy day was yesterday, fellas. The only easy day was yesterday. It's time for you guys to work now. All right? Everything's out the door. This is a rivalry game. It's all about grit. I want no excuses. I want no egos. I want no attitudes. No bad body language. I need straight this.
We are ready to go now here from the Toyota Center in Houston. So glad you could join us on this championship Saturday in the SWAC, along with 2-time All-American from Stanford, as well as 10-year NBA veteran Jaron Collins. I'm Mark Haley. How's our body language? I think we're ready to go. And the great thing about this matchup, the 2 teams remaining really are neighbors here in the Houston area, Jaron.
This is a rivalry game. How about that pregame speech? Go get my high top. Where's my mouthpiece? I'm ready to go. Like, both teams are very familiar with one another. They're both from the Houston area. It's an opportunity to make it to the NCAA tournament. and break your rival's heart. It should be a great game.
Let's take a look at our one-on-one in Montreal Scott at Prairie View A&M. Was not first or second team all conference this year, but Darren really does have some fine accolades.
Yeah, he was a dynamic scorer. He's at his best when he's slashing and getting to the basket. You know, let's not forget he was the fourth leading scorer in conference play. And then you're talking about Aaric Murray, somebody who has all the accolades. He was a player of the year, defensive player of the year. He's a double-double machine, and he's going to have to be big in order for Texas Southern to have a victory this afternoon.
Take a look at the starting lineups. Keep in mind these teams met twice in the regular season. They split those two meetings, and in one of those meetings, they played 3 overtimes.
Only easy day was yesterday, fellas. The only easy day was yesterday. It's time for you guys to work now. All right? Everything's out the door. This is a rivalry game. It's all about grit. I want no excuses. I want no egos. I want no attitudes. No bad body language. I need straight this.
Well, we saw that prior to the game, and now we take a look back at it at halftime. Along with Jaron Collins, I'm Mark Daly. We were kind of pumped in. We got to give the coach an A for the speech, at least for the first half.
I'm ready to run through a wall. I don't know about you, but I'm fired up. And I'll tell you what, it looks like a number of the players for Prairie View A&M are fired up as well. They came out as, you know, they're the ones that dictating the tempo, dictating the pace of this game, and they're the aggressors.
Prairie View A&M trying to make the NCAA tournament for just the second time in their school's history. The only previous time was back in '98. And Texas Southern hoping to go for the 5th time, but their first time since 2003. And Texas Southern in the home white. Texas Southern up by 2 just before we went to the break. The fan here sitting just to our right, courtside, got up and he gave the thumbs up. He's okay. He has a shirt on that says "Every Play Counts," which is actually a Prairie View A&M shirt. So I assume that he is a Panther fan, and he was run into by Texas Southern's Jose Rodriguez. So his name won't appear in the box score, but I think he feels like he actually played in this game.
Yeah, he's going to need some ice after the game. It's one of those where he probably hasn't taken any contact in about 20, 30 years. Just needed a moment.
Happy to report that he's okay. You know, that's part of the... You sit in those high-dollar seats there on the Jack Nicholson seats and get some contact.
Yeah, up close and personal.
Bounces off the back rim for Lewis Monks. They've been hot, and like his team has cooled off here in the second half. They give it to Murray, who's doubled. Goes to the baseline, shoots and scores. Now there's just the strength of Aaric Murray on his play.
He just willed that one in right there. That's good defense, just better offense. Just muscled up that jump hook going to the baseline.
4-point lead for Texas Southern, their largest of the game. In fact, this has been their only lead with the exception they were up 4-3 with about 3 minutes gone in the first half. So taking the lead about a minute and a half to go on the clock. Prairie View A&M trying to find that spark again. Robinson with a couple of threes in the first half. A little short and can't get it to him there. Here comes Gibbs. Got up in the air, shot off the glass, it's missed. Punched in the air along with Murray, and it's taken off the floor by Lewis Monks. Texas Southern has not missed a shot yet in this second half. They've hit their first 4 from the field.
For Prairie View A&M, they're struggling right now on the offensive end. Be aggressive, attack, see if you can get to the free throw line. Don't settle for jump shots right now.
Missed by Southern was their first of the half. 1 for 7 so far in the half as Prairie View A&M. Can Haygood change that? No. Loose, picked up. Chapman pulled inbounds to Montgomery, and a 3 is good. Montreal Scott, the junior from Dallas.
And he's the 4th leading scorer in the conference. Very capable three-point shooter. And he's trying to will his team into the NCAA tournament. Stepping up huge for them here in the second half.
Man, tipped out. Here comes Scott again. He has numbers to go up to the line. Monks couldn't quite gather it, and now the other way comes Scott, and he lays it in. What a big turn of events there to get Texas Southern a 7-point lead. Hey, thanks very much. Boy, Louisville, they're getting into gear again just as the tournament starts, trying to repeat as national champions. Here, Texas Southern snipping their first trip to the NCAA tournament since 2003. Prairie View A&M, and the jumper bounces off the rim from Scott down low. Murray had it and traveled back to Prairie View.
And you see the two big guys come out right there.
You know, that's something you hardly ever see. I think you should, like, let that go when you're avoiding stepping on somebody. You know, that's what happened there. Rules are rules, Will. Yeah.
Prairie View A&M led by as many as 13 in the first half, led by 7 at the half. Trying to find that spark.
Yeah, Texas Southern, I mean, they're shooting 73% in the second half. It's not necessarily the offensive end for Prairie View A&M, although they have missed their fair share of shots. They got to do a better job on the defensive end.
Texas Southern shot 38% the first half, and the big hands of Murray with the late block. Gibbs coming the other way. The corner.
Nice.
Player of the year has been the difference maker today. 26 points. 10 rebounds, and he is perfect from the line. 9 of 9. The big guys are they can hit the free throws. It's a big attribute. 23rd career double-double, 9th of the season.
Again, for Prairie View A&M, they're not doubling Eric Murray. And when he faced up right there on the catch, it was an excellent opportunity to double team Murray and get the ball out of his hands.
Hand off to Briscoe. Briscoe driving underneath and jammed by DeMondre Chapman. Timeout.
Can't have another turnover, careless pass. You see Prairie View, they're going to extend their pressure, see if they can pick up full court.
Danner back to Penn.
Very
A&M almost.
That was very fortunate right there for Texas Southern.
Texas Southern wanted to eat some clock. Penn.
Got him in to get the ball. Used to hate that. You think you got the rebound, here they come in, swiping at your knees, trying to get the ball, but again, just an unnecessary foul. But again, I don't know that it'll have much bearing on the outcome of this game as Texas Southern looks poised for a trip to the NCAA tournament. And Ray Penn, what a spark plug off the bench, giving his team a huge lift, knocking down those threes in the game.
Prairie View A&M will fall to 11 and 23 to finish the season. They went 6 and 12 and 30. Headed to the NCAA tournament for the 5th time in school history and the first time since 2003. Prairie View A&M playing their 4th game in 5 days, just ran out of gas at the end, Jared, and Texas Southern wins the SWAC.
Yeah, just too much. Eric Murray, dominant, conference player of the year, showing everybody around the world